Understood? So your age is this one. Next year, what is your age? Name. Okay. Okay. Your somebody's name is Rakesh. Next year, what is his name? Rakesh. After 20 years, Rakesh. So there is no change. Rate of change is zero because it is a constant. So for a constant, rate of change is zero. For example, 3 is a constant, 5 is a constant, 7 is a constant, 0 is a constant, 1 is a constant, -3 is a constant. So rate of change is 0 because that is a constant. Because constant means that value is constant for all time. So if somebody is asking what is the rate of change of a constant, you have to say that 0 because that is a constant. For a constant there is no change. Then why you are asking rate of change? Understood? So for a variable quantity only you can say rate of change. Understood? That is the basic idea of differentiation. Basic idea of differentiation. dy by dx, that is represented as dy by dx. Derivative is represented as dy by dx. For example, y equal to 3x square. Y equal to 3x square. Here, x is the variable. X is the variable. Y is also variable. But there is some difference between these two. Y is depending on x. Y is depending on x. Therefore, x is known as independent variable. Independent variable. And y is known as y is depending on x. Hence the name dependent variable. Dependent variable. So that's the difference between independent and dependent variable. Both are variable, that is okay, but one is independent variable and the other one is depending on this variable, hence the name dependent variable. So now you can calculate the derivative of y equal to 3x square. So that is represented as dy by dx. Dy by dx. You are actually calculating the small, very small change in y with respect to very small change in x. Understood? Very small change in y with respect to the very small change in x. So that is actually represented as dy by dx, or the derivative of y with respect to x. You know how to calculate the derivative of x square? What is how to calculate the derivative of x square? So there is a general formula y equal to x raised to n. There is a general formula y equal to x raised to n. N can be anything. N can be anything. For example, n can be 0, n can be 1, n can be 2, n can be -1, n can be -3, n can be -5, n can be -1 by 2, n can be -3 by 2, n can be -9 by 2, whatever the things. Some number, some real number, some real number. So that is n. If y equal to x raised to n, the dy by dx can be represented as n into x raised to n minus 1. Y equal dy by dx is equal to n into x raised to n minus 1. Understood? So, what is y equal to x square? What is the derivative of x square? You have to compare with the general formula. Y equal to x raised to n. So, what is n? 2. Yes. So, what is dy by dx? Dy by dx is equal to n into x raised to n minus 1. So, here you can write 2 into x raised to 2 minus 1, that will be 2 into x raised to 2 minus 1, 1. So answer is 2x. Understood? Then I will give you one example. Y equal to x raised to 1 by 2. Here what is n? N is 1 by 2. So what is our formula? N into x raised to n minus. So here dy by dx will come 1 by 2 into x raised to 1 by 2 minus 1. What is 1 by 2 minus 1? 1 by 2 minus 1. 1 by 2 minus, actually denominator 1, hai na? So divide by 1. So you have to multiply with the 2 and multiply with 2 both sides. So what you will get? 1 by 2 minus 2 by 2. Now denominator is same for both the case. So you can combine 1 and 2. So 1 minus 2 by 2. What is the answer? Minus 1 by 2. So you can write 1 by 2 into x raised to minus 1 by 2. If the power is above, that can be written below also. So minus will become plus. X raised to minus 1 by 2, when it is coming to the denominator, it will become as x raised to plus 1 by 2. What is x raised to 1 by 2? Root x can be written as x raised to 1 by 2. Root x can be written as x raised to 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 root x. Understood? 1 by 2 root x. So from where we started? Y equal to x raised to 1 by 2. What is x raised to 1 by 2? Root x. So the derivative of root x is 1 by 2 root x. Understood? So this is standard one. Y equal to x raised to 1 by 2. Understood? Another case. Y equal to 3x square plus 7x plus 2. Here there are three terms. This is 3x square, this is 7x, and this is 2. So here dy by dx is equal to, you have to write dy by dx of 3x square, dy by dx of 7x plus d by dx of 2. So when a 3 is actually a constant, that is when it is coming along with a coefficient, you can take 3 outside and you can calculate the derivative of the remaining variable. Similarly, 7 also is a constant which is acting as a coefficient of x, that can be taken out and you can write d by dx of x. Then d by dx of 2. What is 2? 2 is alone. 2 is a constant. What is the derivative of constant? That is why I told you that derivative means rate of change. Constant means the value will not change. Somebody is asking what is the change of a constant. You have to say that constant means that it's a constant. It cannot be changed. So if you are asking rate of change is nothing, 0. So that is 0. So here 3 into d by dx of x square. What is x square derivative? 2 into x raised to 2 minus 1 plus 7 into x means x raised to 1. X means x raised to 1. So 7 into 1 into x raised to 1 minus 1 plus 0. So 3 into 2, 6, x raised to 2 minus 1, 1 plus 7, x raised to 1 minus 1, 0. X raised to 0 is 1. Anything raised to 0 is 1. So 7 into 1 plus 0. So the answer is 6x plus 7. Understood? Yes. The differentiation of a function in physics, distance can be represented as distance is equal to speed or velocity into time. Distance is equal to velocity into time. Distance I will represent with a symbol S. Velocity I will represent with a symbol V. And time I will represent with a symbol small t. So V can be represented as S by T. So when a vehicle is moving, the value of S will change from S1 to S2. Understood? For example, this is our reference. Or for example, this is origin. This much distance is S1. This much distance is S1. And this much distance is S2. Meaning this is S1 and this is S2. Now our vehicle is here. Vehicle is here. After some time, it is reached the point S2. So the total distance traveled is S can be represented as delta S. We will represent it as delta S can be represented as S2 minus S1. So when the vehicle was at S1, the time was T1. After some time, that means at time 2, T2, the vehicle reached the point S2, that much distance. So in how much time it is traveled? Final time minus initial time. So what is the rate of change of distance with respect to time? Delta S by delta T. That is the rate of change of distance with respect to time. So here you can see that V equal to S by T. So distance by time is actually velocity. Distance by time is actually velocity. So here also delta S by delta T. Delta S by delta T. delta, the unit of delta is also kilometer or meter, and delta t is second or hour. We can say that meter per second or kilometer per hour. The unit of displacement or the distance is kilometer or meter, and the unit of time is hour or minute or second, whatever be be. So this is actually delta V. Delta S by delta is delta V. This delta V, or you can say that this is change in distance by change in time. Na? So you can represent it as average velocity. V average. Average velocity is equal to total change in distance by total time difference. That is average velocity. Understood? So this is average velocity. Now I will give you the concept of instantaneous velocity. Now you are standing here and you have reached this much distance after some time. Here the time is t1, here the time is t2. The distance traveled is this much distance traveled, that I will represent it as delta S. The time taken to travel is delta T. What is delta T? T2 minus T1. Delta S is S2 minus S1. This is S2 distance, this is S1 distance. From this point, this is my origin. But you are not standing at origin, you are standing at a distance of S1 from origin. And after some time, you are reaching a distance of S2 from origin. So what is the difference? S2 minus S1. So what is the total change in distance? Delta S. What is the total change in time? Delta T. So average velocity is equal to delta S by delta T. Understood? Now I will give you one example. Now this much of distance is there. You are standing here. You are standing here. You moved a little bit. You moved a little bit distance. Very small distance. That is also change in time.นะ? That is also happening in a small time. But here the time was very big. Here time is very big. Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Now the time I am considering is very, 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 very small. For example, delta T equal to 0.0001. 0.0001. That is almost equal to 0 only. But it's not 0. The time is almost equal to 0, but it is not equal to 0. Such a time. That is very within short time. So that within short time, you are moving a distance of delta S with very small time. That means I can consider a limiting case. I can consider a limiting. What is the limit? Limit delta T tending to 0. My delta T is not 1 hour or 2 hours. My delta T is 0.000001. But not 0. But is almost approaching 0. In such a case, here also delta S by delta T. distance by time. So distance by time means velocity only. So this is not average velocity. This I will call it as instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. So what is your speed within a short time? Very, very, very small. Understood? Instantaneous. Instantaneous velocity is actually represented as dy by, here you can represent as ds by dt. Instantaneous velocity means ds by dt. Average velocity means delta s by delta t. Understood? When you are calculating average velocity, delta s is big quantity and delta t is also a big quantity. When you are considering instantaneous velocity, ds is very, very, very small quantity and dt is very, 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 very small quantity. So that limiting case is very important. That is why I have wrote that limit delta t tending to 0. Not 0, but almost approaching 0. Such a small interval of time, what is your rate of change of distance? Change in distance by change in time. Here we are not changing the quantity. Numerator is still distance and denominator is still time. Distance by time is actually velocity. So this velocity we have to call it as instantaneous velocity. If you are taking simply this one only, delta s by delta t, you have to call it as average velocity. Understood? Similarly, what is acceleration? Acceleration is equal to change in velocity by change in time. What is the change in velocity with respect to time? Here the change delta v will be big and delta t also will be big. So I will call it as average acceleration. We will call it as average acceleration. If delta t is very, 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 very small, so I will consider a limiting case. So I can put limit delta t tending to 0, delta v by delta t is actually dv by dt. dv by dt. dv by dt is known as instantaneous acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration. This is average acceleration, delta v by delta t. When I am taking the limiting case, limit delta t tending 0 or delta v by delta t, I can call it as dv by dt. What is dv by dt? Here is also dv. It is a very small change in velocity and dt is very small change in time.
So if the value is not 1, like if the value is not 1, then we can say it's limiting. It's instantaneous.
Oh, what one? For what value you are asking?
For any value, like if the value is not -1 or not 0, but not reaching 1, then we can say instantaneous.
Instantaneous means you are standing here. The next instant means the next nearby point. So what is the change? What is the change? Very, 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 very small. So If you are standing here, and you are reaching here, but this is a very small change. Therefore, the time is very small time. If very small time means your distance change is very small. So delta S by delta T. So the next instant. Now here the next instant matlab that is 0.0001 second. After 0.001 second,
Zero.
what is the change in distance? What is the change in velocity? In such a way, the change in velocity by change in time you are calculating. That is also velocity by time. That is also distance by time. Then you can call it as, if distance by time, you can call it as instantaneous change. That is instantaneous change. Similarly, instantaneous change in distance and instantaneous change in velocity. If we are calculating instantaneous change in distance, we will call it as instantaneous velocity. If we are calculating the instantaneous change in velocity, we can call it as instantaneous acceleration. Understood? Here I explained the total change. Total change. S1 may be 3 kilometer. S2 may be 5 kilometer. So what is the change? 5 minus 3, 2 kilometer. Time may be, this time may be 5 o'clock. This time may be 5:30. So what is the change in time? 30 minutes. 30 minutes is very, very big quantity compared to 0.0001. So that is the total change. That is the total change. So your total change means what is the average calculation. So, but instantaneous means now you are standing here, after the next instant, what is the change? That is represented as instantaneous acceleration or instantaneous velocity. Understood? That concept is used in differentiation. So y is equal to u plus v. Y equal to u plus v. Y equal to u plus v. U is a function of x, and v is also a function of x. U is a function of x, v is a function of x. Then dy by dx can be represented as du by dx plus dv by dx. You can call it as addition principle in differentiation. Similarly, if instead of plus, minus is there, simply you put minus. So you can write du by dx minus dv by dx. This is addition or subtraction principle of two different functions used in derivatives. If two terms are represented separately, if you want to calculate the derivative of the function, you have to calculate the derivative separately and just add. You will get the derivative of the total function. Understood? Y equal to u plus v plus w. Here three functions. Here u is a function of x, v is a function of x, and w is a function of x only. So what is the answer? What is dy by dx? Du by dx plus dv by dx plus dw by dx. Understood? So du by dx, dv by dx, and dw by dx. If it is minus, you have to put minus. If it is minus, you have to put minus. Wherever minus is coming, you have to minus. Wherever is plus, same thing you have to apply. So this is addition principle. Another principle. Y equal to U into V. Here U is a function of X. V is also a function of X. But both functions are multiplied. Then how to calculate the derivative? Dy by dx equal to U into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. Understood? So dy by dx is equal to u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. I will give you one example. Y equal to e raised to x into x. E raised to x into x. If y equal to x, what is dy by dx? X raised to x means x raised to 1. So 1 into x raised to 1 minus 1. So 1 into x raised to 0, 1 into anything raised to 0 is 1. So 1 into 1 equal to 1. So derivative x is 1. Understood? Y equal to e raised to x. The derivative is a standard formula. E raised to x ka derivative. What is e raised to x ka derivative? E raised to x itself. Derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x itself. Therefore, here you can consider this as u and this as v. What is our formula? Dy by dx is equal to u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. What is u? E raised to x. What is dv by dx? dv by dx matlab x ka derivative. Derivative. What is x? Derivative x? 1 into 1 plus what is v? X. What is du by dx? That means derivative of e raised to x. Derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x itself. So you can write e raised to x. So answer is e raised to x plus x e raised to x. Understood? That is the multiplication principle. Multiplication principle in, or you can say that product rule. Product rule in differentiation. Then another example I will give you. Y equal to e raised to x into x cube. Here u is e raised to x and v is x cube. So u equal to e raised to x. Du by dx. What is the derivative of e raised to x? E raised to x itself. V equal to x cube. So dv by dx 3 into n into x raised to n minus 1. So 3 x raised to 2, 3x square. Understood? So what is the formula of dy by dx? U into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. So u, what is u? What is u? E raised to x. E raised to x. So e raised to x. What is dv by dx? 3x square plus what is v? X cube. What is du by dx? E raised to x. So you are getting the final e raised to x into x square plus e raised to x into x cube. This is the answer. This is known as product rule. Understood? Now I will give you S is equal to ut plus half at square. That is a formula of displacement. Understood?
Yes, sir.
They told me that initial velocity a constant. Acceleration is also constant. So this u is a constant here. This term is a constant. This a is a constant. So normally y equal to 3x. You should not think 3 since constant 3 is constant, so derivative is 0. Not like that. 3 is a companion of x. 3 is a companion of x. So when you are going for a marriage, your father will also take you. So like that, the everything will be done by your father, but you will go along with him. Similarly, we are going to calculate the derivative of x. 3 will go along with him. Should not lose. When your father is returning to home, you should also come back. Understood? Similarly, 3 is constant, but is not alone. If the constant is alone, then derivative is 0. But if the constant is a companion of a variable, you should not worry about the constant. साथ में लेके जाओ. Carry along with you. Whatever you do, please keep side. Understood? So what is the derivative of dy by x? 3 into derivative of x. What is the derivative of x? 1. So 3 into 1. Answer is 3. So 3 is not missed. 3 is not missed. You are carrying, you are doing the operation only on x, but you are taking 3 also with you. Understood? That is the concept you should apply when a constant and variable is coming together. Understood? If here it is y equal to 3x, instead of that y equal to 3 plus x, now 3 is alone and x is alone. So when you are applying derivative, what is the derivative of 3? 0, because that constant is not the companion of a variable. He is alone, so you have to apply the derivative there. So he will become 0, and you have to apply the derivative of x. What is the derivative of x? 1. So answer will be 1. Understood? So when a constant is alone, you can say that the derivative is 0. When the constant is a companion of a variable, that means the constant should be multiplied with that variable. Then you have to take that constant along with him. Whatever operation you have to do done on that variable, but you should keep that constant along with that variable also. Understood? So here S is equal to ut plus half at square. So you have to calculate ds by dt. ds by dt. What is the unit of S? Kilometer. T is time. Kilometer by time or our velocity. So ds by dt is actually what type of velocity?
Uh,
Instantaneous velocity. So you have to apply derivative there. U is a constant. They told you. U is a constant. So you keep U along with you. So U and A is constant. Variable is time. Variable is time. So what is the derivative of T? T means derivative of T means T, the power of T is 1. So 1 into T raised to 1 minus 1. So 1 into T raised to 0 equal to 1. You are calculating the derivative of x means you will get 1. Now you are calculating the dy by dx means you are calculating the derivative of y with respect to x. Dy by dt means You are calculating the derivative of y with respect to t. Understood? So here x instead of x, t is coming. There is no difference whether x is there, t is there. We have to calculate the derivative. You should have to say with respect to what variable I have to calculate the derivative. So dy by dt you can do. Here they are asking not dy by dx, they are asking ds by dt. So here initially I told you that y is a variable and x is also a variable. X is independent and y is dependent. Here s is a variable, t is also a variable, but t is independent and s is dependent on t. So here derivative of t क्या है 1 plus half is also a constant. Okay. So half into half is a constant. A is also a constant. So you have to take along. Then t square. What is the derivative of t square? 2 into t raised to 2 minus 1. That is 2 into t. So you can write 2t. So ds by dt equal to u plus 2 cut at. So ds by dt is instantaneous velocity. Na? So that is can be represented as velocity equal to u plus at. Another equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square is another equation. So some other equation is v equal to u plus at. In this way, the concept of differentiation is applied in the fundamentals of physics. Understood? Okay.